Well, looks like I've been looking to tackle this for a while. Well, when I'm not trying to sneak my way into Japan to either fight demons or to try and get myself physically and emotionally and mentally manipulated by older women, I'm here in my bedroom talking about different animes. So, as you guys would not have been able to tell from my getup, I thought we'd talk about Chainsaw Man. And no, it has nothing to do with the movie that's coming out recently, which I still have yet no ability to see at the moment until then, because my boss is not letting me actually watch the movie. So for those of you who don't know, Chainsaw Man, or the Japanese pronunciation, Chainsaw Man, is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Tatsuki Fujimoto, known for Fire Punch, Look Back, and Goodbye Eri. Its first arc was serialized in Shueisha's Shonen Manga Magazine, Weekly Shonen Jump, from December 2018 to December 2020, with its second arc beginning serializing in Shueisha Shonen Jump Plus app and website in July 2022. Its chapters have been collected into 21 tankobon volumes as of July 2025. In North America, the manga was licensed in English by Viz Media for both print and digital release, and is also published by Shueisha on the Manga Plus online platform. An anime television series adaptation produced by Studio MAPPA, known for Attack on Titan, the final season, Jujutsu Kaisen, Dorohedoro, the Ranma 1/2 remake, and Hell's Paradise, was broadcast from October to December 2022, and an anime film titled Chainsaw Man the Movie, the Rise arc, released in September in Japan and October for the international release in 2025. By December 2024, the manga had sold over 30 million copies in its circulation, making it one of the highest selling manga series of all time. And in 2021, it won the 66th Shogakukan Manga Award in the Shonen category, and it won the Harvey Awards for the Best Manga category from 2021 to 2023. And Chainsaw Man has overall been well received by many critics who have praised it for its storytelling, characters, dark humor, and have practically highlighted its more violent scenes within the context of the story. So, for those of you who don't know, the overall synopsis of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man follows Denji, an impoverished teenager who makes a contract and fuses a part of his body with Pojita, a dog-like chainsaw devil, granting him the ability to transform parts of his body into chainsaws. Denji then eventually becomes part of the Public Safety Devil Hunters, a government agency focused on combating devils that whenever they become a threat to Japan. So for those who haven't seen the anime series or watched the manga, there will be major spoilers ahead, so fair warning. If you guys haven't watched it, it's available on Crunchyroll right now. You can feel free to watch both the sub and the dub, or if not, read the manga. There's currently, as I'm recording this right now, there is currently only 18 volumes out in English. Unless you're able to read Japanese, then you can probably fully catch up to the series. But yeah, there will be major spoilers ahead, so you have been warned. So our story begins with a neat introduction to Denji and his good little boy Pojita. Denji is a broke boy who then turns out to be in debt to the Yakuza, because his dad ended up taking himself out, much like Jeffrey Epstein, before he can make his next payment to the Yakuza family. So little baby Denji meets Pojita and then becomes friends. They both become friends and they worked hard for the Yakuza family, hunting demons to work off his debt. Years later, it turns out that the Yakuza are not actually good people. Who would have fucking thought? And they made a deal with the zombie devil because it actually sounded like, it probably might have sounded like a good idea at the time. I don't know, I would love to hear that conversation beforehand, but you know. And they kill our two main boys. Whilst in a precious little dream, Pojita fuses his body with Pojita fuses his body with Denji, turning him eventually into Chainsaw Man. After some mad slicing and dicing, Denji then gets picked up by some redhead baddie named Makima, who then wants to own Denji like a pet, so then she hires him into the Public Safety Devil Hunters unit in Tokyo. We then get an introduction to Aki, a stern, no-nonsense kind of guy who clearly fucking hates our main boy, probably because he got kicked in the dick a lot harder than Vegeta, who keeps getting hit in the dick.
Aw, he's all tuckered out.
Anyway, after killing a fiend very quickly just so my dude can get some free porn, clearly, dude has not discovered the internet yet, so, you know, we gotta give him the pass on that. Then again, Chainsaw Man doesn't exactly have a set date where it's supposed to be set, as far as I can tell from what I've read. But some people do suggest it might have been set during the time period it's actually released in. And behold, Makima in the story ends up adding power to the group, who's everyone's favorite chaotic creature. We then get one of my favorite scenes in the Spanish dub, mostly because I love Power's Spanish voice, because it's just funny to me. As Denji then makes a deal with Power. If he can get, say, for a cat Meowie from the Bat Devil, Denji will then get a little nice grab at her little titties. Honestly, can relate. After taking out the Bat Devil and the Leech Devils, Makima then moves Power into Aki and Denji's apartment, where she dislikes any vegetals, never bathes, and never flushes the shitter. Seriously, how the fuck is this character everyone's favourite waifu? Well, honestly, it does not commute to my brain. Other than the hotness level, I do not get it. Anyway, after trying to fix Power's shitting ability, we then finally our boy finally gets to fondle her fun bags, only to then realise that her bra was padded. It was all a lie! They cannot do this to my boy! My boy Denji literally just had his whole reality shattered, and given a crash course by Makima on how to actually fuck. So anyhow, she then hypes Denji up by setting him on a task to see if he is capable of killing the Gun Devil, and if he does, he'll then get some praise from her on No Nonstop November, Destroy Dick December, Jerk It January, and Fuck It February. Anyhow, we then get to meet some dickhead who I'm pretty sure is actually Gon's dad from Hunter x Hunter before he probably found out what Nen was. Then we've got Kobeni, who I've seen way too much Rule 34 of, which has now entirely changed my perspective of the character, especially when it comes to the baddie goth design, because if you know, you know. And then we also got my personal favourite waifu queen, Himeno, because god damn! She is actually my ideal woman. So then our Suicide Squad goes into the hotel, where then Power ends up killing Schnoz from Berserk, hashtag justice for Schnoz, and then it summons the Time Devil, or the Eternity Devil, depending on the translation that you're watching it. Our boy then gets our motivation from, well no, Denji technically doesn't kill the Eternity Devil, he ends up instead putting it through enough pain where the demon actually ends up killing itself. Only because our boy got his motivation from Himeno, who offered to give him an open-mouthed kiss. Honestly, I'd do the same. After a successful mission, Denji then gets a kiss from her, but then it comes at a cost. I ain't got anything else to add to that. I mean, that's basically just the law of equivalent exchange, I guess. If you know the reference, you know. We then get the absolute peak cinema, and possibly everyone's favourite scene in the anime.
Wanna do it?
Do what?
Fuck.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
So then, after the next morning of nothing happened,
What happened here? Nothing at all.
Denji and Himeno join Aki and Power for breakfast, only for them to get completely ambushed, but with some guy who had the abilities of a Katana Devil, who then actually turns out to be the grandson of the Yakuza boss that Denji ended up killing way back in episode 1. So, everyone in our main group gets attacked, and they even killed off my absolute queen, Himeno. Seriously? Fuck you, Tatsuki Fujimoto. But you could have had the absolute best MILF level queen, and yet you decided to take this from me. Why? Anyway, I digress. Anyway, Makima then organises a training session for Denji and Power, so they are to be taught by a drunken version of Ichi the Killer. But it actually ends up paying off. So, Aki makes a deal with the Future Devil, because my dude is just a fucking vibe at this point. Fucking love the Future Devil. whilst Makima wipes out most of the Yakuza randos like an absolute fucking champion. We all then also get introduced to some other dudes in the division. Also, Kobeni turns out is actually still alive as well, so woo! We then get what's honestly one of the most absolute best fights in the series, until later in the manga, because trust me, this shit has some fucking nuts in it. All of the other fiends are handling the zombie situation, and then Denji takes on the Sword Boy for a beautifully animated fight. Denji and Aki finally manage to get along by kicking the dude in the dick in honor of my absolute fucking mommy, Queen Himeno. And it also turns out that Makima has a fat chunk of the Gun Devil's flesh.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
And we also then get a tease of Rize for the Rize arc movie before the season ends up actually finishing. So that was the plot of Chainsaw Man, so without further ado, we're going to get straight into talking about the characters. Now I'm only going to be talking about the main characters that I feel like that are really worth talking about in this season, so I'm not going to be going into too much detail on what I feel like. But you're going to get what you're going to get. And plus you guys shouldn't really expect any less from my content anyway, so... So we got Denji, voiced by Kikimosuke Toya in the sub version and by Ryan Colt Levy in the dub. Denji is basically what happens when you combine a golden retriever, a broke college student, and a lawnmower. He's a guy whose whole life goals are as simple as eat good food, touch titties, and maybe not die at the end of the day. Honestly, the most relatable thing I can actually deal with, even in my stand-up shitty life. But he just also happens to be turning into a walking chainsaw when things get messy. He's dumb, scrappy, and somehow both pathetic and terrifying at the same time. We then get Power, voiced by Fauza I in the in the sub version, and by Sarah Weidenheft in the dub version. Power isn't just waifu material, she is feral material. She's the kind of girl who would steal your wallet, eat your food, clog your toilet, and then somehow still having you saying, God, she's fucking perfect. Like, she's not even trying to be cute, she's just screaming, lying, being super racist, and also smelling like a wet dog. And yet she's literally got peak gremlin waifu energy. Power is just chaos incarnate. And she's also the type of girl who would fail every single hygiene check, gaslights you into thinking that it's your fault, and then calls you a coward when you complain about it. Honestly, she's not just a waifu, she's a lifestyle hazard. And I'd still let her ruin my credit score. If Makima is the final boss of No Nut November, then Power is definitely the mini-boss that kills you halfway through because you completely and utterly underestimated how cracked she actually fucking is. Then we got Aki, voiced by Shogo Sakata in the sub version and by Reagan Murdoch in the dub. Aki is the responsible dad friend, stuck babysitting two chaotic raccoons, except one of them turns into a chainsaw and the other one is just Power. He's broody, smokes like his lungs are on a timer, and he's cleaning up constantly after Denji and Power's destruction and disasters. Basically, he's the anime equivalent of that one exhausted group project leader who does all the work while everyone else is trying to set shit on fire. Then we got Himeno, voiced by Maria Ise in the sub version and by Caitlin Barr in the dub. Himeno isn't just waifu material, she is the waifu, my absolute fucking queen! Absolute goddess tier. She's got that smooth, effortless charm that makes you fall for her within seconds. Like, she could smile at you and you'd be writing her name in your notebook with hearts all around it. She's mature, gorgeous, and rides that perfect line between teasing and caring. And honestly, hey, let's grab a drink from her, and I would literally sell my soul, organs, and probably Denji's as well, just to sleep with this bitch. Protecting her, loving her, worshipping her, easy, no fucking questions added. Then we got Kobeni, voiced by Karen Takahashi in the sub version and by Bryn April in the dub. Kobeni is like if anxiety learned how to drive a car, and was also accidentally became a devil hunter. She's constantly one bad day away from either quitting, crying, or both. And yet somehow she survives longer than half the fucking cast in the whole series. I'm not even kidding, like, especially later in the manga, she's still alive currently, from where I'm currently at reading. She'll pull off insane god tier moves in battle and then immediately apologize for existing. Basically, she's the definition of I don't want to be here, but then the universe just keeps throwing her into every single boss fight in her wake anyway. Just for the fucking vibe of it. Then we got Makima, voiced by Tomori Kusumoki in the sub version and by Suzy Yang in the dub. Makima isn't just waifu material, she is the final boss of No Nut November. Like, forget willpower. If she even looked in your general direction, you would insta-fail before November 2nd. She's that perfect mix of elegance and danger, and then you know that she's going to completely ruin your life. And yet you're still lining up like, yes, my queen, please emotionally and physically destroy me. She that doesn't even need to be flirty, she just exists, and then suddenly you're rewriting your entire will to make her the sole beneficiary. Makima isn't just a waifu, she is the S-tier mind control DLC that you pay with your soul, your dignity, and every November challenge you thought you could win. Then we got Kishibe, voiced by Kenshiro Suda in the sub version and by Jason Douglas in the dub. Kishibe is basically what happens when a grizzled chain-smoking veteran becomes a demon-hunting samurai crossed with that guy from Ichi the Killer who laughs while stabbing people. He's deadly, terrifyingly competent, and somehow casually terrifying in every scene. Like, he could probably kill you with a pen and then still complain about the weather afterwards. Very much like very John Wick, if you ask me. Kishibe is the kind of guy that makes you question why humans were even on the top of the food chain, and then mutters something about training newbies while chewing on a cigarette. Basically peak badass with a dash of sadistic Ichi the would-be proud energy. Then we got Pochita, voiced by Shiori Aizawa in the sub version and by Lindsay Seidel in the dub. Meet Pochita, the world's tiniest chainsaw demon with a heart bigger than the chainsaw on his nose. Imagine if Pikachu decided, instead of shocking people, he would chew through zombies. Cute, cuddly, and somehow terrifying at the same time. Now sprinkle a little bit of Tony Chopper in there, and then you got adorable flailing little limbs, big puppy eyes, and the occasional I may be fierce, but I may be small, but I am very fierce energy. Pochita is basically a chainsaw-shaped bundle of cuteness, and it makes you want to hug him right before he rips through a demon army. So that is my look into Chainsaw Man. Will I cover the movie? Maybe when it comes out on physical media I might actually do it. But my overall final verdict of the Chainsaw Man anime. Watching Chainsaw Man is like riding a roller coaster. That's part horror, part slapstick, and part why is this orange chainsaw creature my new emotional support animal? It will make you laugh, cry, question your life choices, and then cheer for the guy who literally revs his face like a fucking lawnmower. By the end, you'll either be covered in metaphorical demon guts or crying into your popcorn, sometimes both at once. Honestly, 10 out of 10 would let Pochita chew through my existential dread once again. So, that's my look at the Chainsaw Man. If you guys liked it, please make sure you guys comment, like, and share, and hit the notifications bell so you guys will be up to date on everything I put on the channel. And also don't forget to check me out on my other socials in the description down below. You guys can find me on my Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, the Facebook page, TikTok, all the bits and pieces in the middle. And I'll be updating you guys on anything I do, whether it's manga I'm reading or a game I'm playing. If you miss the live streams, do not worry because they get uploaded onto my YouTube channel the next day. And if you guys want me to cover a certain anime, feel free to comment down below on what ones you want me to talk about next. I've been Bloody Jack, and I'll see you lovely lads and ladies in the next one.